You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey, folks! It's Thursday night!
Woo!
Yeah, there's my Caucasian DJ horn.
As always. Yeah.
We keep it real here on the Beans and Dice podcast. So it's just us. But tonight we're missing quite a few chairs. William's not here.
Yeah.
Wayne's not here.
Wayne
They had a lot of
tonight.
work stuff going on.
Yep.
But I think we got to upgrade.
And who are we?
I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
See, he's on task.
Yeah, got to
That's
get
why
keep to the task here. Yeah.
And today, from the Board Game Nexus, we bring to you our guest host, Anthony and Francis. Say hi to the folks, Anthony and Francis.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Oh, audio's good and clear.
Yeah.
And I am going to double check. I'm gonna pull up the audio here, Rob.
Yeah, you got to fire up the
the phone line too,
phone
right?
line. Yeah, go ahead, open up that phone line.
Let me check the audio
That's fine.
on the stream, make sure we're good.
Yep, we've got viewers there, so if anybody wants to just give us a quick thumbs up, let us know.
Yep, audio's clear on the interstreams, interwebs.
So we're good.
And so that means I get to open up the phone lines.
Excellent. Phone line.
Okay.
Yeah.
One day when
we get bigger, we'll have multiple phone lines. But
if
right
we
now
ever
got
make
one.
money on this, we can
we can actually
buy
afford
the
a
right
couple of phone
software.
lines. Yeah.
Apparently there is software that can run a full telephone system for us.
Nice.
So I got to figure that one out.
Wow.
But welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
I always like to start my conversations with guests with really a quick question here.
Okay.
How did you get into board gaming?
Ooh.
way back. Way
So
back.
I'll let
Way back.
Anthony start, and
Yeah.
then I'll.
I'll
explain
kick it
when-
off when you sort of got into it. Yeah, so I actually was I was board gaming as a young lad, but I'd say probably when Hero Quest was released.
Oh.
We're gonna go back. So,
Okay. Back a little
Back up
ways.
there,
He's got
Hero Quest.
up there on the
The
My
original.
first time actually having
Yeah,
it.
the original. Yeah.
that was like I had bought that. I had bought a game called Crossbows and Catapults. Where
I
you-
remember that.
Yeah, for sure.
That was like one of my favorites. And I also bought this other one. I forget what it was called Battle Masters, I think. And it was this giant like mat. It was almost like a nylon mat you would put on. It was huge. And you would do it was like this giant board game made by Milton Bradley back in the day. But so that's when I kind of like started, and then I didn't really have anyone to game with, and there was like no such thing as a solo game back then. So like none of those games were for one player. And then as time went by, I guess sort of the hobby kind of reemerged, and I got back into it, and I bought a couple games, and then started the channel. That's why I started Ant Lab as a solo playthrough channel. This is like way back, like probably like
It was just you, just Ant.
just me. Yeah, this was probably like almost 10 years ago. So this was like like
Now that I think about
the
it.
content creator space wasn't.
All right, Anthony,
nearly-
it's happening. We're
We're
getting
call.
your first phone
hate to
call.
cut you off, but
Oh, wow,
we got
already?
first call coming in. Yeah.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Mitchell, New Iberia, Louisiana. What's up?
Hey,
My
Mitchell,
man.
how are you?
Doing all right. How are y'all?
We are well. We have a guest host with us tonight from Ant Lab Games, Anthony and Francis, also Board Game Nexus. Say hi, Mitchell.
How's it going, Anthony, Francis? I think I was actually at Carlos's house about a year ago. I actually met you guys briefly on a video
Oh,
call.
yeah, I
Nice to
remember.
talk to you guys again.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, cool,
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Wow,
During
that was a
the
year
mentorship
ago.
program, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, doesn't feel like it.
that's awesome.
Yeah, time flies.
What's up, Mitchell?
Not too much. I'm actually at my theater right now where there's a show going on, and I slipped out for a few minutes to make a call. I wanted to talk about one of the new hotnesses that I got to play, which is Wild Serengeti. I know you guys mentioned, I think someone in your group had it. Did y'all get a chance to play it yet? Rob, Carlos?
Not
haven't.
us.
No, I
Not
saw somebody post on the Discord that they've got it and posted some pictures. But no, I'd like to try it, but I haven't played it yet.
Anything from
What about the
Philly,
folks-
right?
the folks at Ant Lab?
Philadelphia?
Have you guys played?
What's that?
Serengeti?
What's that?
No, we
Is
haven't,
Serengeti up there?
played it. We haven't played it yet.
Okay.
Oh man, I really highly recommend it, especially Carlos. You're a theme guy. It's so themey. I mean, for people listening, if you don't know, you're basically like you're trying to make a National Geographic documentary, not literally, but that's what it feels like. And so you can spend money to discover animals on the board, but then you can also like spend food to make them move around, or you can use VFX to make the background look the way that you want to look at it. the mechanics are super, super simple. You have a meeple with a little camera, and there are a bunch of different actions, and you put your meeple out, you do that action. If somebody else wants to do that action before you turn, they may have to pay a little bit extra, but it's not like there's a round and I recall all my meeples. It's just constantly moving from one action to another, and you have to move. And basically what you're doing is, there's this big grid, this big checkerboard with different terrains, and you're taking animals, you're putting them out, you're spending the money to go on that expedition and find them, and you have objectives that you want to attain. So you may want to get a zebra, a giraffe, and a hyena all in a straight line. It doesn't matter if there are animals between them as long as they're in a straight line. Or you may want to have, a zebra and a lion adjacent to a giraffe. And it could be in an L shape or in a line, whatever you want. Or you may want to see 3 elephants all in the water. But the cool thing I really, really like, it is kind of puzzly, but the thing is, it's a puzzle that everybody's working on. I don't have my own board. We're all working on this big board, and there's actually a good bit of take that. Like if I see, you're trying to get your animals in this configuration to get this shot that the people want for the documentary, well, I can throw some food over here and make that lion come this way, and now you're not going to be able to get that lion into your shot. It was a lot of fun.
Huh. Okay. The documentary thing really gets me there. I mean, normally in this kind of game, you're playing either like area control or you're playing to eat each other, to kill each other,
or ecos,
or something like that. But this one, you're actually kind of like making a documentary. That sounds
kind of like
cool.
Picture Perfect almost.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Where you trying to set up the right
You
picture?
kind of see it like that a little bit. Yeah. And then what I really like, so there's a tree, think almost like Everdell, but it's almost 100% useless. It's for tracking the round. And
just like Everdell.
Pretty much. Just hold stuff. Yeah.
It's tracking the rounds and telling you how much money you get each round. I guess as I think in the latter half of the game, you get an extra $1, which is what you use to spend on actions. But then what's really cool is the board starts getting crammed, right? But in the second half of the game, I guess, you've been there too much. You spook the animals and you put this card, and the card tells you if there are animals on these certain tiles, they run away. So if you're working on a certain objective and you don't finish it before the end of the round, but you're almost there, you may be screwed up if you wait because, the next day those animals might not be there anymore. I thought that was a pretty cool mechanic.
So how much of that is luck-based? I mean, do you know that any of that's coming, or is it just completely random?
Well, when the fleeing is going to happen. It's in rounds, I think it's 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
But you don't know which ones are going to flee. So you want to try your best if you're working on a certain tableau you're trying to get it before the end of the round, before you run out of resources.
Interesting.
That seems interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's brand new, I think, right? It's just now rolling out to people?
Yeah, it's just fulfilling like a week ago. My buddy got it, and we got to play in it last weekend.
That's cool.
Was it Jeremy?
Of course it was Jeremy.
Nice. So what else is going on? Anything else you've been up to?
Well, it's the last week of school. Tomorrow is the last day, and
me too, man. I'm celebrating. Whoop whoop! Last day of school. Summer's here. I'm so excited. Time for games.
You're not even a teacher, man.
I have kids. Okay. So unlike most parents, my wife, who is a teacher, we all get super excited about summer. We're happy to have the kids at home. We love spending time with them at the house, doing stuff. So I'm like super excited. Like my son was like, all right, Poppy, summer's here. It's time to get Hero Quest out. Right? Because that was going to be that game we were going to play during the summer to play a few in a row. So I'm excited.
Nice. That sounds awesome.
That's good. Well, I have to go into my office for a little bit in the morning, have like a little quick meeting, and then I have some friends coming over at like 10 in the morning, and we're going to game all day to celebrate the kickoff of summer.
Nice.
And I have most of the weekend free. I'm going to try to get a lot of gaming in this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that.
You got a lot of theater stuff going on over the summer?
Yeah, well, right now I'm in a show that's opening in a few weeks. So miraculously, it just worked out. I'm not called for any of the rehearsals this weekend, so it's a great way to kick off summer.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a good show. I should pop back into the theater and make sure they don't need me for anything. And I'll be watching as much as I can.
We appreciate you always being first caller, Mitchell.
Take care, Mitchell.
Good thing. You have a good show.
Have a good night. Thanks.
Later. Thanks, Francis. Bye.
That's Mitchell from New Iberia, Louisiana. We met him on the show. He found out about us. I don't know how he found out about us.
I can't remember how he found out.
But he started calling.
Yeah.
And then one summer, he said he was coming to Florida for summer vacation.
Yeah.
And he thought about going to Tampa. We had mentioned we're from Tampa, so we said, "Hey, come on down. We'll invite you to the studio." my den.
Yeah.
And we played games, and ever since then, you know, we've Rob and I made a trip out there. We spent a weekend out there in Louisiana for a small board game convention. Spent time with him and his friend Jeremy, who buys all the new hotness.
Yep.
That's how we got to know his friend Jeremy out
Got
there.
to meet BJ from Board Game Gumbo out there. He's a friend of Mitchell's, so we made that link, which is cool. So,
yeah, BJ and Mitchell know each other. They run the Southern Board Game Festival.
Sobo, yeah.
BJ and Mitchell worked together to help make that happen. So they invited us out this past, when was that?
Was it October?
It was March?
September?
No, it was March. It was spring.
Oh, yeah, it was spring.
The spring break.
Yeah.
It was our spring break.
Yeah,
so we spent the week, and we got to go to Louisiana, got to do the World War II Museum, play some games out there in Lafayette, eat some great food.
Yep.
So that was us. But back to Anthony.
And, your intro into gaming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
it was Big Matt. Big
yeah, so it got past that. So then I started my channel. I started then it's like I went to my first Gen Con, and then I started like that kind of like sold me, right? So I went there and I was just like all the games, picked up a bunch of stuff, started doing videos, and it was more or less just like almost just like walking people through like playthroughs. They were like playthroughs, but they were solo. I never did like I only did games that were only solo or could be soloable, not games where I had to two-hand it, right? Because you'll see a lot of that now when people solo channels, they'll actually play two-handed games.
Sure.
I never got into that. I was just because I wanted a game that I could actually play by myself solo. So eventually I met Francis, and then we were playing like parlor games like chess and Scrabble and all that stuff.
Because that's like what was available.
That was available, and then I was like, well, you know what? I do have some real board games.
No, I had to tell you exactly what he said.
Oh yeah, jump in.
Because we were kind of started, it's kind of like friendship or talking, whatever. And like this one night, he was like, "Let me show you a real board game."
Oh, a real board game.
How do you broach that topic with someone you're dating?
It was just like a funny way that he put it, but he's like, and he had them like in his trunk or something like that. So, and it was Viticulture and Gallerist, I think.
Yeah,
were
Gallerist.
The first
two very light games. I figured would be good introductory games.
Oh yeah, okay.
And his
yeah,
thing was, I remember you're like, I'm interested to see how you do. Like it was some kind of test.
Huh.
But
okay. Yeah.
I kicked your butt.
She did well. She beat me.
So.
And that was it. And then that got her hooked.
Oh yeah, totally.
And then I was like, all right, by the way, I have this channel that I do playthroughs on, and I'm like, you want to do it? And she was like, she actually only did voiceover the first time I had her in.
Yeah.
She wouldn't go on camera. She was too nervous. And then slowly I weaned her in, and then the whole channel changed.
Yeah.
It became two-player.
Yeah.
It became two-player. Yeah, and that was like early time. There was only a handful of channels that were doing like couples games at that time. So this was like early on. It was
like probably 2016.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a different landscape because there's so many content creators now. It wasn't nearly as crowded as it used to be.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just throwing, data into the intertubes and hoping that somebody's paying attention at all.
Back, like I said, back in the day, it was there were like a handful.
Yeah.
It wasn't as like I don't think iPhones or cell phones were at the level of being able to be studio quality like they are today. So anybody with a phone now could literally do what we did 10 years ago. But 10 years ago, you had to have like a camcorder that was high def. Otherwise, you weren't doing it.
No, I think people were though. Like, I guess I'm more in that wargaming space.
Yeah.
That's even a more niche group.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So trying to find that wargaming content, it really was people with their poor quality, low res camcorders just putting anything up.
Oh yeah.
And I was eating it up.
The quality, because that's all that was out there, right? Because you took what you could get. Now it's like the quality, the bar has been raised, right? So now it's like high quality sound, lighting, and clarity. 4K. It's crazy. Multi-camera angles, like it's blown up.
And just tons and tons of games.
Yeah.
I feel like the game arena has exploded.
It's gone.
Too,
it's just thousands of games a year.
I remember,
there's no doubt.
When we started out, it was kind of like there were, we did a lot of older titles, I think. And then there weren't that, like you'd go to a con and there'd be like a few games that were kind of like, okay, these are the hot ones that, people want to kind of pick up or you're excited about getting. And then now, it's almost like when we go through like, okay, what's releasing? It's like, I'm kind of like lukewarm on a bunch of stuff. as opposed to being really excited about like one or two games. So it's been really interesting.
I think just the
seeing
volume.
Seeing everything just kind of evolve the way it has.
Yeah, it's almost overwhelming. It's
it's funny.
Hard
We
to
were
pick
just
stuff out,
talking about this on the Discord at 11:55 last night.
I saw that last night. Yeah.
Trying to get the baby to sleep.
Right.
We were chatting about it, and I was guessing about 5,000 a year or 3,000 a year, and then Michael from Armada Games had posted that he did a search on BGG and it maxed out at 5,000.
Yeah.
And he's a retailer. He said he thinks it's over $7,000.
But here's
last year alone.
The funny part is, like, how many of those 7,000 titles does anybody really know about? Right?
Yeah,
maybe 100 of them if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So where do those other 6,900 games go? Into the ether? They go into a database and no one ever looks at them, right? So
it's crazy.
It's just really weird because board games have suddenly become like technology, how fast they age, right? Because once it's past, it doesn't even last a year. Like the game's out, it's out a couple months, and then everybody's on to the next one.
Yeah.
There was that moment, and I got some comments in here that we'll get to for the folks that comments for y'all. But there was a moment I used to DJ. That was my thing. I grew up DJing. And the moment I realized that I didn't want to DJ anymore was the moment that the music got so saturated in volume and in distribution.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, as the DJ back in the early 90s or late 90s and early 2000s, I was your source of music. Mm-hmm. I figured out what was cool, set up my playlist, and did my thing. Middle of the 2000s into the late 2000s, the kids were telling me what the hot stuff was. They downloaded it already. They already got the torrent, the bit, the LimeWire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't heard of that guy? He came out last week. I'm like,
right.
The moment I realized I could not keep up with the volume of music coming out on the SoundClouds and the torrents, and that I was like, I'm out. I'm out of the game. I'm always behind.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel that in the board game world. I'm always behind.
You're exactly right. And we looked at it one of two ways. It's one, either you have to basically live and breathe it, right? And be on every day, combing and looking and searching and be in the know. Or you just have to accept the fact that, look, there's 7,000 games coming out this year. 6,950 of them I really don't care about.
Yep. There's going to be no chance. So just might as well just pay attention to what you pay attention to.
Pay attention to the top 50. Yep. And then because that's at the end of the day, those are probably the ones worth looking at, because the sheer volume doesn't mean the quality's there, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have a lot of just games that are.
And even those niche ones are going to find their way. I mean, we've got a guy, Michael Lorenzo, in our game group. He recently moved from
the
Tampa.
chat.
Oh, he's in the chat. Okay, good. I didn't see him in there, but hey, Mike. He recently moved to Seattle, but he was our, I don't know. He always kind of
new game addict.
New game, he always knew the underground. He would give us these games out of left field that we had never heard of, and we'd be like, he'd introduce them, he'd buy them, he'd bring them in, we'd play them. But like, wow, this is a good game. And then about 6 months later, it'd be one of those games that everybody was coming back to, and it was like, whoa, that was a slow burn for a lot of people. But for somehow he always figured out these games, and so
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, again, we were trying to watch the
was like a Cascadia's First Light. Or Circadian's First Light.
That was
he spent 6 months trying to get us to play that game.
Yep.
And then now it's like,
we always wanted to play the hotness. He'd bring it to game day, and and then we were like, oh, well, there's whatever is out.
Right.
Let's play that one, and we'd never get it to the table. We finally played Circadians. We're like, wow, this is a great game. And then
I think y'all literally told him, why haven't you brought this to the table before?
Probably. It's like, I've been trying for 6 months, but you guys don't want to play it.
That's the thing. You got to be careful about the perceived hotness, right? Because it's been so misleading, and it really, like, in today's, what we're finding in today's community, it's more about advertising and false hype than it is about actual game quality, because a lot of those lists, you may or may not know, are driven by advertising dollars.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Truthfully, like, I don't think people realize that that those lists are pumped up by giveaways and contests and activity on those websites. So the more people who go to those game pages because of contests are basically inflating the value or the perceived value of that game.
Sure.
Just because of activity, when in reality it's more or less just because it's been advertised and because I need to go there for a contest so I can try to win a copy of it, right? So whenever you see those contests, that's really the intent behind that.
just to trigger the clicks.
That's
Yeah,
all it is.
exactly.
It's about clicks. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's a good game. It just means that it's getting a lot of clicks because somebody put out
Because somebody paid for a contest.
a lot of money.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
I want to remind the folks at home, phone lines are open. 813-618-7099 is the number. It's on the banner.
Yeah.
Phone line. The
phone
one
line,
line is
yeah.
open. So if you want to chat with Francis and Anthony,
See, there's
Oh,
the
yeah.
We just pulled up the
The
comment.
comment there, yeah, surprise guest baby.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's our buddy Kyle from Chicago.
Yep.
He's been a frequent viewer and caller.
And caller. Yeah.
Also had his baby boy just over a month ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
wow.
wow.
Declan.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
So
Yeah.
we gave him a shout out when he had his baby boy.
Yeah, he hasn't been calling us regularly, but
He's
yeah,
tired too.
New
Like
child
me.
has been the
I
excuse.
understand
yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Motive Force says Diego out of Tampa says, is the baby's name Meeple?
No.
No,
not quite.
this is baby Lucas.
Lucas is
Yeah.
Lucas, very cool.
Lucas
So
Meeple.
for the Star Wars fans, our daughter is Leona, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
And if you cut the short version of their names is
Luke,
Luke
Leia.
and Leia.
Luke and Leia.
Wow.
Yeah, very
And
cool.
we were like this close to having May the 4th babies.
Yeah,
He was born on the 9th.
oh,
But we were like
so
dangerously close. We
Yeah,
were like,
all the
"Oh,
stars
he's
would have
so
aligned
cool."
for that.
Yeah.
But actually, Leona, our daughter, she's actually named after a League of Legends character.
Yeah.
Leona.
Oh, okay.
Both are fans of Star Wars, or
Yeah, he's more of he's
I'm
definitely
more-
understands
Yeah.
the story and the lore.
I'm more
and
into the
everything
lore,
more.
and she's just more into the entertainment value.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. No, nothing wrong with that.
Michael, also known as Crew Jones from Seattle, now says, I have Wild Serengeti. I like it a lot.
Awesome.
Let's see. Joe Garcia out of Zephyr Hills. Zephyr Hills, right? Wesley Chapel?
Wesley Chapel.
Wesley
yeah.
Chapel.
Mhm.
It says, do I see coasters? Yes, you do. I've been playing around with that Glowforge I got, and I started
nice.
Oh.
making
Those look
some
so
board
good.
game coasters
That is slick.
Yes.
to spruce up the just practicing, just kind of learning how to do this, spruce up the game room. Super excited about those.
That is
Those
so
look
awesome.
slick. Yeah.
Burn
like-
right in it.
I just got to figure out how to make a sippy cup for Robert.
Oh yeah, so I don't spill stuff. Yeah. Okay. I hear you. Yeah.
And then Michael says, always the first caller. Yes, Mitchell
was always every
plays
week,
the meta
first caller.
game.
Yeah.
He always tries to be the first caller. That's his,
pretty funny.
that's his goal. And if he's not able to because of a show, he always designates someone to be his first caller for him. But phone lines open, 813-618-7099.
Let's jump into the Nexus stuff. You think it's time to
Yeah,
talk a little
so
bit about-
we met during the apprenticeship. So I came in kind of like a
And then
master and Padawan.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that.
kind of
Star
relationship.
Wars reference. Yeah. Oh, somebody's calling. Yeah.
And I don't know this number. Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Well, hello, gentlemen? Question mark. This is Rich Yassi, otherwise known as Getty 19.
Oh, hey, how
Getty
are ya?
19. Out of Canada, if I'm right. Right?
Close, just outside of Boston.
Okay.
Okay. Well, kind of up that way. I love Boston. Boston's a great city.
Oh, thank you very much.
First time
I just wanted
caller.
to Yes, absolutely. I love that meetup story from Anthony and Francis. That's just
Oh, yeah.
classic. That's great. It's like when she beats you at viticulture, she's a keeper.
You know
That's
it's
it.
you know it's meant to be.
That was his test.
That was the test. She passed.
So what have you been up to?
Well, I do some contract work, and end of the month is always a tough time for me. So been pretty busy lately, but trying to do a lot of gaming on BGA, and just kind of wanted to call in, introduce myself, and say how much I've been enjoying your the shows and.
Oh, we appreciate that.
Playing some games with you on BGA. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, we got the BJ. You're on the Discord, I believe, right? Yeah. You've definitely been on the Discord. So meeting up for games on there. We just got introduced, just so Anthony and Francis know, to the BGA. We just got deep into it, I guess, just within the last probably 30 to 60 days.
30 days or so.
30 days or so. Wayne, who's a regular on the show, kind of turned us all onto it, and we've kind of gone deep down that rabbit hole the last 30 days.
Is this
We've
Board Game Arena?
Board Game Arena.
Board Game Arena. Yep. The online board gaming. So we certainly prefer in-person gaming, but especially as we've grown in our Discord, we've got people all around the country now. It's neat to get on there and play with people who either call into the show or just comment on the show, and then being able to actually game with people all over. It's been really cool.
Like Getty 19. Getty 19 has introduced us to a bunch of games, and I've actually joined my first tournament. Tell us more about the BGA and what you've been hosting on there.
Well, I actually came to you guys via Wayne. I'm involved, fairly heavily involved in a podcast called Tabletop Game Talk, and they run a Discord server, and I've been helping them out in terms of trying to grow their online community and via BGA and Discord, and it's been going really well. And anyway, I've been running a couple of tournaments with them, and Carlos, I know you're going to be going in our Railroad Inc. tournament, so that's going to be fun.
It'll be my first one, my first tournament.
June 1st. Oh, you'll have a blast. It's a lot of fun. But I've basically just become a BGA zealot, and I've just seen how it can really bring people together, and especially with these times in the pandemic and all that stuff. It's
sure.
It's really been my salvation personally, gaming wise. So it's any time I can help people kind of see the light as far as BGA is concerned, that's a good day for me.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah, Board Game Arena is really cool with those tournaments. I'm trying to get into my first one, but BGA, Board Game Arena, as you play games and as you get a record for not dropping out of games and being a bad gamer online, you get these points that are allocated to you for doing well. So at first, Carlos and I and a couple guys just from our Discord chat will get in and we'll play, Can't Stop is one we've been playing a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And you get points as you play and as you continue to play, and then there's tournaments that are set up on BGA that you can go and enter, but they usually require you to have a certain reputation rating and a certain proficiency in that game, so you have to have 100+ points worth of
ELO, they call it.
ELO. Okay.
I'm not sure what it means. But...
Yeah, I don't know either, but they give you a ranking.
ELO, yes.
And so it's kind of cool that they can put people in these tournaments and be fairly confident that, number one, people know how to play, so you're not going to have anybody in there that's just throwing games or whatever. And then also people have a certain reputation for not dropping out of games, and they go through these little mini tournaments and things. So it's a fun neat little thing that they do.
That's neat.
That's really neat.
And it looks like it's not real time, right? Like you can play over
your choice. You can real time or asynchronous.
Yeah, you can do either way.
Yeah, most of the tournaments are async, so you can set it up so that people can only really need to worry about taking 1 or 2 turns a day, and
that's pretty cool.
It works out just fine. It's great.
Is this a
anyway
site?
It is a free site, Anthony, except if you pay for premium, that gives you access to start asynchronous games or real-time games. But for free, anyone can join you in a game that you start. So I'm premium. Rob just leeches on me.
I'm just as long as you've got a premium friend who can start doing this.
I may want to start leeching on you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So we usually play after the show. We usually, that's when we got introduced to it.
We've got a game going on tonight later. What do y'all want to play tonight?
We're going to be doing Rallyman GT. I think, Getty, you're going to join us, right?
Absolutely. And guys, I'll let you. I'll get off the line and let others join in. But it was great meeting you. And if you ever want to start up a BGA tournament, I'm your guy. So I'm more than willing to help out and do whatever I can for you.
I figure I'm going to let you run me through my first tournament, and then from there, I'll work on learning how to actually do a tournament for the Beans and Dice. So I really appreciate your communications, and your activity in the Discord has been awesome. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. It's nice to finally to get a voice to the name and the gamer.
Same here.
And I've always wanted to see Fenway. Now that I know there's someone up there,
there you go.
So I have to make a trip.
Don't tell anybody I said so, but it's kind of a dump.
It's been there forever. So
hey, I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan. I'm Tampa Bay Rays, so it's okay. It's a dump. I'll agree with you.
All right, guys. Have
good
a
night.
Good night.
Take care. Good night.
From Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
We're really we got to get that map.
Yeah. We've got Chicago. Yeah, we're gonna get a map and put little pins in it because we're still new enough to all this stuff. We've been doing this for just a little over a year, so we still get excited when we get.
You create a map on your Glowforge, man.
There you go. Yeah.
Would burn that thin. That Glowforge has been fun.
Very cool. Very cool. But we were starting with the Nexus. So I don't know if you finished your lead in on that, Carlos. But
Yeah, no. So Ant Lab Games has started a website called. Let me get that right. Am I right? Ant Lab Games started the Board Game Nexus, which is a website that allows you to have a database of games. Also has a database of content creators, and it's going to have, I think, starting soon, a database of shops of game stores,
Physical
right?
stores, yeah.
Physical stores. How can the folks partake or participate
learn
in
more. Yeah.
the Board Game Nexus?
Yeah, I mean it's just go there, right? The BoardGameNexus.com, right? You just can go and poke around. We have a database of over 17,000 games. And this kind of comes into, if you're like, wow, only 17,000, but if you think about it, out of those 17,000 people who own games probably don't even own more than 500 to 1,000 of those at most anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's usually from what we've seen on people's collections, it's only pretty much the same games with the exception of a few like obscure titles that people have, right?
So we got an interruption. We got a call coming in.
For a moment. We got another caller coming in.
Beans and Dice podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Keith Mahoney, California.
Hello, Keith from California.
How are you?
You're on the line with Beans and Dice, and we have Board Game Nexus, Anthony and Francis. What do you got going on gaming wise?
I fucking hate black people.
Okay, have a good night, brother. See, that is definitely a risk.
Part of what we do with unscreened phone calls.
You
but,
guys need a screener.
Yeah, we talked about that. As soon as we can hire one, we got some kids that are might be interested. So we
one day.
We're gonna talk to our kids about it at some point.
Intern.
They still
exactly.
they still get through the screener though. Because
They will.
they're gonna you hear it happens on the radio shows all the time.
Yeah, people say what they have to say to get on.
Just to get on. Yeah.
Oh, the delay. That's what you need.
All I can do is block them. That's all I can do.
That's it.
Blocked. But back to the Nexus.
So basically, like I said, like we have 17,000 titles, but what we've learned is that most gamers don't own but a small percentage of those. So when we were setting out to create a list, we basically took, people were submitting us a bunch of lists during our call to action like last year, where we got a good chunk of what we thought would be a good start of our database. And then Francis went out and like sourced games from like all different publishers, distributors, and all that, right? Because it's all out there, right? And they're willing to give it. The publishers don't care. The distributors we've talked to are like, here's a list of our games, because they want to sell their games. So it's like, okay. And you start your base with that. And right now we've got sort of what you would say is like the skeleton of the database with a lot of data for a lot of the owned titles populated. Mm-hmm. We're still looking to get more data updated as time goes on. Because and another thing you got to keep in mind, right? The website's like not even 2 months old.
It's a baby.
It's a baby.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So it's going to evolve. There's no doubt, and it's definitely reliant on people providing whatever they can from just to enrich our database. We rely on people to submit game updates. That's how we know what new games to add to the database. And again, because it's new, we're not getting everything that we could possibly get from all the publishers. So as things come, we add them to the database. If people ask for them, we add them to the database. So we've been doing that regularly. Mm-hmm. So we keep the website populated. We've got a host of content creators that are on board with us that we've been posting their content. We've actually renamed our channel to be in line with the brand, the Board Game Nexus, which is probably confusing even more people because we've changed our name so many times. But that really is sort of you follow that road, and that road is like our journey, right? Like over the last
it's like our evolution
5 years and how we've evolved. And we've always, even in our mentorship program, we talked about pivoting. When you feel like you're at a point where you need to pivot and move into another direction, to fulfill what you think your end goal is, right? Or your vision, or your why, what we talked about, right? So our why is we've always wanted our why to be bigger than just Ant Lab Games, right? Because that was just us in front of a camera at a table, and it's like, okay, what can we do to make a bigger impact? What can we do to make a bigger tool that goes beyond just making videos, right? And the Nexus kind of just came up, and we're like, well, let's do it, see if it works. And
yeah, we really wanted to create a space that was just kind of different. We've encountered in our gaming experience a lot of folks that are what I would consider to be like more casual gamers, but still enjoy the same kinds of games that we all enjoy.
Sure.
That they are not really hobbyists. They're not tuned in to the hotness and all this stuff. They might be shopping more at like their local game store, maybe like Target, maybe Amazon or something. And really they're just looking for stuff to have fun with their family or their partners or their kids. And this in our experience is just a kind of a void in a way. I know there's a lot of folks out there that kind of serve this population, but it's so fragmented that we really wanted to have everything right in one place, so that if you're new to this space or you've been in it for a while, but you want a place where you can find information about all the latest conventions, find out about new board games, learn about Kickstarter. This was something that, like me coming into the industry, I had no idea what Kickstarter was. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know why it was so important in our industry. And so just something as simple as like not assuming that everybody knows what that is will help attract more people to the hobby that aren't hobbyists, but just truly want to have a good gaming experience. So that's really who we're looking to target, with the website. And I think it's been successful in doing so far.
And it's gonna take
and
time.
We're excited. Yeah, we're excited about where it's at and where it's going.
It's definitely gonna take time. And I think, to Francis's point, like when we think about the community and the hobby, most of the activity occurs with what we would call like the collectors, right? People who want to just buy the next best game out. They may not even play those games. They're just buying them up, right? And it's almost like they just keep cycling through this same group of people who just keep buying the same, the next game on Kickstarter. And it's like this, I'd say it's probably anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 people. And it's those same 5,000 and 10,000 people who are buying all these games every campaign. And because it's the same people talking about it. If you look at the forums, you'll see it's the same voices, the same people, the same, I just backed this. I'm like, these are the same people buying this stuff over and over again.
It's that endorphin rush, that high of having the game and the extras that no one else can get to.
Which there's absolutely nothing wrong with. But some people are in the hobby, any hobby, for that collector aspect, I think. And other people are in it for, because they want to play that one game that they found that they love over and over and over every family game night,
Yeah. So that's what we've learned, that there's these different segments of the community that want different things. And that 10,000 people, we'll call it, who want to buy all the hot games that are coming out and have all the collectibles and all the promos and all that stuff. But then you've got another probably a couple million people in reality who just want to casually play a board game here and there, right? And we want to attract more people from that audience into our community, because the other ones already found their way here because this is their passion.
Right.
But it's those who don't have board gaming as their passion, but it's just their pastime. How do we get them to look more this way and feel more comfortable on a website to research games and not get distracted, right? Or overwhelmed, because, a lot of those sites out there are overwhelming because they're built for those 5,000 to 10,000 hobbyists who know what they're looking for.
I consider myself a hobbyist, but I will tell you that the forum style website, I have no idea what I'm doing on there.
Right.
Like I can't find the what do they call them? Not bands, not groups, but guilds, right?
Oh,
so
the guild.
like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even know how to
yeah.
find a guild,
Yeah.
start a guild.
That's what I was
or-
going to ask. Is speaking of community? So how are people? How can people interact with the website at this point?
Great question.
Yeah, so we set it up. We were a little intentional about this, and when you guys know from doing the mentorship program, we're all about like the why and what should things feel like and all of that. And we wanted the website to really feel like you're coming home to your personal game collection. And so when you're on the site, you're very much, it's kind of a passive experience in concerning like other people. Like you can post reviews and things like that. But for the most part, it's not a place where you're really engaging with other people too much.
Okay.
So we have a space to do that too. We actually just launched a Facebook page this week, which Anthony can talk about.
I jumped in on that one.
Yes, where we can do more discussion. But as far as the website itself goes, this is really a place where you can come, explore, manage your collection, post your reviews, your thoughts, learn about things, on your own, similar to kind of how you would behave in your own personal space, if that makes sense, as opposed to in a public forum.
Right. And we didn't want to just recreate what's already out there, right? Because why do that? There's really no need for that. We wanted it to be slightly different. We wanted it to be a space where we didn't have to worry about any drama coming up and people being trolls and people do because it's happening everywhere.
It happened on this show.
Yeah, it just happened on this show. It's like
Little bit.
That's not the first.
Yeah.
We regularly get that troll caller.
Yeah,
that's
here and there. Yeah.
yeah. So we didn't want there to be distractions from what the site's intent is, and that's board gaming, right? And like that's it at its core. And we didn't want there to be all this other stuff. So we intentionally didn't create a social segment of this website, right? Because it was a tough call because you do sort of feel disconnected from other users because you're not having that space to do that, right? Which is why we finally were like, you know what, we need to just create a Facebook group. People, those are pretty happening right now, and they don't have their. I mean, they do have their fair share of drama. As if you're paying attention, the last 2 weeks have been insanity in all the Facebook groups, just with stuff going on. Won't even go into that, but we wanted to create a Facebook group for board gaming. That's an extension of the Nexus, so people can come and once it gets to a nice size, we can start doing giveaways and contests, and really start encouraging people to participate. There's going to be a lighter moderation touch in this forum compared to the others, just because I think you've got people in positions that are making heavy decisions. Just for the sake of making heavy decisions on people, and they're making a lot of people angry. And I'm like, they're segmenting out certain parts of the community. And I'm like, we need to all kind of just get together and have fun and talk and be able to have some discourse here and be able to have an argument about which game's better and why don't you like this game. And I'm allowed to say I don't like this game, as opposed to if I say I don't like this game, you're going to boot me out of this group. It's like, come on. Like,
I almost unsubscribed when you said you liked Ark Nova. Like, you almost
yeah.
But I want us to be able to have that discourse in the Facebook group. You know what I mean? Like, if I say I like Ark Nova, and you say, you know what, I really don't. Okay, tell me why you don't like it, and then we can agree to disagree and move on and get on with our lives, right? But that's cool. I'd like to see all sides of it, right? Maybe I don't like something, but you tell me something about it that says, oh, you know what, I'm thinking about that in a different way now. Let me give that another shot, right? If you only have one side of a conversation, you're never going to have that opportunity to learn something about yourself, right?
Right.
I think that's what we're missing. So we're going to do that, obviously.
And, but there's also the efficiencies of it, right? Like, if you want to do a social conversation thing, what I found is that Discord does it best.
Yeah.
Like, there's already a platform that does that community piece really well. So you're focusing on what you do well and then using the tools that do it better than you could.
Right.
It's just a better way to spend your energy.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to build it in a website, it was just, there's better tools for that. Yeah. And as long as people can relate the two, and you can, then just makes sense.
That being said, so there are some ways on the website where you can interact with other people kind of asynchronously. And that would be through discussions. So that's like our reviews on individual games. and you can rate and you can leave reviews. You can upvote reviews and downvote reviews. Actually, I don't know if you can downvote them. I think you can just up them if you want to. Individual people's reviews.
Yeah.
You can comment on posts and on articles, and when we post a playthrough or something like that, we do a blog article about it. You can comment, let us know what you think on there, which is cool. And then we also have question and answer on every game page as well, and it's in its own section. So if you have questions about the game, you can post them there. Folks can answer them. Designer could come on and answer them. It shows who's responded and everything, which is pretty neat. So it just keeps it organized and intentional, the interactions. And again, that just helps us not have to worry about, trolling. And moderation.
Yeah, because there's going to be trolling, right?
On a positive experience, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things about accountability is like we said, the website's free. You can use it, you can create your collection, all that other stuff. There is a premium membership that costs money. It's $10 a year, so it's like 85 cents a month. We try to make it super cheap, but the main reason was
we got a call coming in.
Oh yeah,
sorry to cut you off, but
hopefully they're asking about it. Yeah. Beans and Dice podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
What's up, Carlos? It's Joe Garcia, and I'm from Zephyr Hills, not Wesley Chapel.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
We mislabeled. Wesley Chapel, Zephyr Hills are right next to each other. But hey, Joe, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We are having a blast with a great conversation with Anthony and Francis from the Board Game Nexus.
Hello.
Say hi, Joe.
Hey, yeah, I've been watching. I'm actually on the website right now, browsing around and checking things out and stuff.
Awesome.
Kind of just been navigating and looking around. I actually landed on something that prompted the phone call because my biggest issue, I'm a newer gamer. Not been doing it as long as you and Rob or anything like that. But, my big issue that I find when I'm looking for new games in exploring and trying to figure out what I like is I don't understand like the mechanics to filter on. And the first thing I saw was a learning section, and there is a post all about mechanics, and it really breaks down really well all the different mechanics and helps me at least to learn what it is that I like. So that as I'm searching for new board games and stuff, it'll make it a lot easier going forward. It's hard. It doesn't seem like something that a lot of places really talk about very often,
I love that, Joe. Thank you so much, because I put that article together, and that was something that, like, going into this, even as we're building the database, we're trying to be much more intentional about what we call things, and again, like, making it more accessible to newer gamers as well, because I think we've got this, like, kind of, I don't want to say alphabet soup, but word vomit maybe.
Yeah, like you could
taxonomy is how they call it, right?
But it's meaningless if you're new and you don't know what any of that actually means. So yeah, we're trying to put it in a more logical format, and I'm glad that was helpful.
Yeah, definitely is helpful, especially because you guys have so many games. Like, I started just browsing the solo games and stuff because my kids aren't quite at the age yet where I can play a lot of games with them. So I end up playing solo a lot, just to, like, fill the void of the night after work. I don't want to look at the computer anymore. I've been doing that all day.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's just so many games. And then I was looking at the filters and I'm like, man, there's so many different types of games. I don't know where to start. And then I found this article and I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So hopefully that leads you in the right direction.
Yeah, and again, this is in beta. I know it's like my first article on mechanics, but there will be more. So it's really encouraging that it's been helpful.
Yep.
So I can keep doing that.
The website's intent is to be a tool, right?
Yeah.
For newer gamers and experienced gamers, but really trying to bring in, those who are new to the hobby just don't understand what all these terms mean and what all of this is.
Yeah.
Because it's a big hobby. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, even some of us that have been around for a while, and it's just even I try to be mindful of it. But earlier when we mentioned BGA and dropped that a couple of times, and Anthony was like, "Are we talking about Board Game Arena here?" I was like, "Yeah." I mean, it's just our group now has been just in the last 30 days has been so immersed in BGA, Board Game Arena, that it's BGA now.
You can see how for somebody newer to the hobby, that can be intimidating.
Sure.
To hear people kind of dropping a bunch of jargon and you're not really understanding what's going on.
Right.
And to feel like I can't ask this question because maybe I'll look silly or I don't know what I'm talking
You
about.
get that response, which is
You get that-
use
yeah.
Google.
Go look it up.
Okay.
You get that a lot when people come back, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, why can't you just answer the question?
Right.
Yeah. Simple stuff.
Yeah, Google it. It's so terrible. It's just so impersonal when you get that.
Well, I got to give Joe props because he is a new gamer. Joe's really only been hobby gaming, but for probably just a couple of years now. But
Probably just Gloomhaven.
I was gonna tell the story. That my buddy Nick and I we've been gaming for a while, and Joe was a good friend with Nick, and I bought Gloomhaven when it first came out, and Nick and I were full into it. We're going to do this Gloomhaven thing, but we need to get a third player, and so I'm not sure exactly how
they tried to get me into it.
Oh, well, we tried once or twice, and then you walked out. But
not me.
It wasn't his cup of tea. Not enough dice and randomness in it, maybe. But,
correct.
Okay, but anyway, so Joe stepped in and he's like, "Hey, I'll try out this Gloomhaven thing." And so 2.5 years later, we finally finished the main box. We finished the expansion, and I've got Frosthaven on order. So if that ever gets out, when and if I should say, we're ready to go for Frosthaven. But yeah, Joe's been a trooper, and he's taken a head dive here probably in the last year, maybe really trying to learn about gaming.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been the past year really, because I played Gloomhaven, and honestly, for the first board game that I really got into, Gloomhaven was definitely the deep end to jump into.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
But after about a year, you know what it was? We had finished Gloomhaven early one night, and Nick pulled out Res Arcana, and I played that, and I don't know what clicked from that game, but I was like, oh my gosh, there's other games out there that really called to me. And I started exploring more and trying out more games. And then I caught the bug, now I've got cube storage everywhere with board games.
I remember that.
I love it.
Was it because Res Arcana lacked the alpha gaming that both Rob and Nick are famous for? Is that why?
I actually did well in the game, so
and we got to get back to
helped a lot.
We got to get back to you, Joe, on the new Azul. I know you're the only one that I know in our game group that owns and has played that multiple times. So it's Queen's Garden, I think. Is that what it's called?
Queen's Garden.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to.
I do have it.
We're gonna get you on to do
definitely a lot different than the others.
Full review of that one for us here. Maybe next weekend. We'll talk about it. Maybe next week's show.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sweet.
Excellent.
All right, guys, I'll let you get back to it.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling, Joe. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, Joe. Take
All
care.
right, thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
That's Joe from Zephyr Hills.
Zephyr Hills, not Wesley
He
Chapel.
will not claim Wesley Chapel.
He doesn't want any part of that? Yeah. Oh, well.
How far is that from you guys?
So Robert's in Wesley Chapel.
Yeah.
He's about 20 minutes from Zephyr Hills. I'm about 45 minutes from Zephyr Hills.
And you're in
I'm a little
Tampa?
more south. I'm in Lutz, which is a
suburb.
northern
suburb of Tampa.
suburb of Tampa.
My brother lives in St. Pete. That's why I asked.
Oh, okay. Just
Okay.
across the bridge. Yeah. Well, I was over in St. Pete earlier, or actually last night. I dropped my daughter off at the airport over there at St. Pete Airport. So, yep.
Well, y'all gonna have to reach out whenever you bring the baby out to
For certain. Yeah.
Lucas, right? Baby,
Yes.
little baby Lucas.
Yes. To the beach. Yes,
To the beach.
That's where we're headed this weekend.
Question about adding games to the collection.
Where's that at?
From
chat there?
Motorforce. I don't mean to.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, call them out.
Is there a way to bulk add games to my collection on the site?
Yes. So there is. If you do sign up for the premium account, that's that $9 a year thing. We will kind of, and I call it like white glove service because it's not exactly a port of your list, but if you provide us a list of the titles of your games, we can get your list uploaded for you a little bit quicker than you probably could, especially if you have a lot of games.
Yeah, the challenge with that is you're going to send us a game list of, say it's 200 games, right?
Mhm.
But they're the way you type them in.
Yeah.
Now I've got to try to match that
God.
Right.
to them in our database. So
Yeah.
it's not at all easy.
And that's why I say it's like white glove, and that's why we do include it only in the premium accounts, just because we can't do this.
It
for
could
like
take-
that. We
yeah.
already have thousands of people using the site, and I can't have like I can't have. that
Yeah,
many
you
people
could take you a
wanting
good
to-
hour to 2 hours just to
Yeah.
go, because there's people who send lists that are over 1,000 games. It's
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
because
I can
it's
imagine.
not only every game they own, but every game they've ever played too. They want in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
see.
Like,
Some,
it-
some.
Yeah.
it's crazy. You would just be like floored if you saw some of these collections.
And just to clarify, we're only doing the ones that you own.
yes,
Okay.
So if you send us ones you've played, we're not
it's too much.
uploading all of that.
Yeah.
It goes out. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
That makes sense.
I joined the premium for the ability to contribute to the review.
Yes,
section.
and we were touching on that before the call actually, and
go
I
ahead.
wanted to go through a little bit about the cost because I know it could be a deterrent in some cases. Like, oh, I don't want to pay for this. Why is it cost me money? And to be able to write, because you could do everything on the site with the exception of actually writing a review or rating a game or like being able to interact in a way directly on the site and like put your stamp on it, right? Because you get people like that caller earlier who can just come in anonymously, drop something really nasty, and then leave. And there's no consequence to that, right? So
you mean put a 1-star review on games that haven't even come out yet?
Yeah, but actually the website won't allow you to review a game that's unreleased yet.
Okay.
All you can do is ask questions and answer questions.
That control's already in place. So
Cool.
you don't have to worry about
All
that.
right, that's cool.
But having somebody come in and write a review and say some just terrible things about the designer or the publisher or just, it's something that you don't even want on your website, but it's like, okay, if everybody could do that, how are we going to control that? Right. Because now I could have hundreds or thousands of things coming in on games that I've got to like read through and make sure that it's actually legitimate before approving it, or I've got to approve everything. So it's like, okay, you know what? Let's have a premium account where people, their real name is tied to this account because they've paid for it. There's a consequence now. So if they start trolling, we cut them off. You're done. Now they're not going to go create just another free account to go do it again at a new email.
Another $10.
Yeah, another $10.
Are we going to do it for another $10?
Yeah, you want to do it at that point? I'll just keep banning you. You keep paying $10.
There you go. You pay me the $10.
Yeah, and at some point you're going to be like, this isn't worth it.
Right.
The juice isn't worth the squeeze. So that was the deterrent. And if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes to keep the data quality, good. So it's unfortunate that we had to go that route. But again, it's just because there's so many people who want to just upload their stuff without any hesitation.
Got another call coming in.
A phone call.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Yo, it's Lorenzo from Seattle.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Michael Lorenzo, transplant of Tampa, all the way to Seattle.
All the way to Seattle. Yeah. How you doing, Michael?
Also known as Beans and Dice West
Coast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Beans and Dice West. Yeah, I'm doing good. I've actually had your show on. I've been working on the side, but been listening from the beginning. And as soon as Anthony said that he got into crossbows and catapults, my ears perked up immediately.
There you go. Yep. And
because I picked up crossbows and catapults when I was a kid, like younger. And I think I've told this story before. I just remember I would always like double up on the rubber band.
Oh yeah,
so that it would shoot the discs a lot harder. And I absolutely loved that game as a kid. It was just the neatest thing ever.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And you heard us mention your name earlier. I brought you up as our underground gamer. You Moonrakers is another one I remember you introduced us to.
I think there's a video coming out. I saw a teaser.
About Moonrakers. Yes.
Yeah, Michael introduced us to Moonrakers. It was while you were still here in Tampa. I mean, it was over a year ago, and nobody was talking about that game. And you kept pushing it. You kept bringing it to game day, and we finally played it. And I was like, whoa! All right, I'm not a negotiation guy. I shy away from social interaction games. Yeah, and that game has something to it.
Yeah, we hate negotiation, but man, that makes you want to negotiate because you're like, because there's no there's no harm in it. Everybody gets something out of it because otherwise those missions are tough to do on your own.
Oh
you'll just sit by every turn, just watching everything go by.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is like you just need 10 points to win that game, and it's not that hard on the surface, but
yep.
Well, it's getting other people to buy in to help you get that 10th point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially pushing you over that last
Good luck.
9th and 10th point. Good luck with that.
And I love that, like, as you get closer to winning, your people are less likely to help you out, obviously.
That's Munchkin, though. That's like grown-up Munchkin.
No,
Munchkin, no, it's not.
It's so hardcore, man. It's so brutal. Unnecessarily take that, man. I can't.
Well, I don't know if you have any questions for Anthony and Francis, but I want to say, what's the new Underground? What are you playing now? What's the next big one we're going to hear about in 6 months?
Oh, geez.
Oh, I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh,
all right. Well, you can skip that or think about it, but yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
Okay.
But Mitchell called in and was talking about Wild Serengeti. I was just going to back him up on that one. That it's a pretty cool game, and it really is actually thematic. You can do like lure animals with meat, and you can do CGI effects so that they don't have to be in a specific type of terrain, and it's pretty neat. And then how they have the migration phase where a card is flipped over and like all animals like on certain spots will disappear. So you could kind of be working towards something, and then it kind of pulls the rug out from under you. But
wow.
It's a pretty good game.
But what about Mrs. Lorenzo? Yeah. Like last week, we heard about Mrs. Lorenzo jumping into some games with you and asking for more. Is Wild Serengeti one of those games that she would ask for more of?
She said she liked it. She said she would play it again. It was our first game with the friends that we have here that I kind of like built them up into more heavier strategy games, and they enjoy it a lot more now. And the first game was kind of like, it took a little bit longer, but now that we all know how to play, the next time that we get together and we'll play it, it's definitely going to go a lot faster, and I think we'll enjoy it even more. But yeah, that was a good one. And I taught, I'm trying to remember which game I taught. It was pretty funny because my wife she's a pretty good sport. She'll play whatever at least once. And I'm looking at my games trying to figure it out. But anyway, we played this one game, we finished it, and she's like, well, I don't ever have to play that game again. I was like, whoa, okay, well,
not a ringing endorsement.
Not hitting the table. Yeah.
I know what that game was.
But yeah, I don't know why I can't. It'll come to me anyway. I was just calling in to kind of contribute to the conversation there and show my love for crossbows and catapults.
There you go. I'm with you. I'm with you all the way there.
And have you? I saw the story you posted in our chat or our Discord or somewhere about the neighbor that may be a gamer. Is that got any further yet?
Okay, that was all in the Discord.
Tell the story.
You got to tell the folks at home about this neighbor of yours. Go.
Okay, so Quartermaster Logistics was doing the shipping for Wild Serengeti. And I live in an apartment complex, and like each unit has like 8 units within it. So anytime a package is delivered, it's left on the bottom floor table next to mailboxes. So I came in one day and I was like, there's 2 boxes here, and I always look, all right, cool. Quartermaster Logistics. I grab the box, I go upstairs, and I open it up, and it's Wild Serengeti. And as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, that other box downstairs, that was like exactly the same size. I'm curious, what that is. So I run back downstairs, I take a look, and it's another box from Quartermaster Logistics, but it's for somebody else within my apartment complex. But it's somebody I haven't met yet. So I was like, oh man, now I got to find out who this person is.
So you live next door to somebody who's on the Kickstarter for brand new board games. So yeah, very cool.
Exactly. So I was like, oh man. So this person gets a ton of stuff because I've seen their names on boxes like all the time, but I haven't seen them yet. So it's kind of like, I'm hoping to find out who it is so I can say, hey, so how are you liking Wild Serengeti, like as a joke? But then I was thinking, this person's probably going to think I'm a creeper or something, like I'm trying to, scope them out. But I just thought it was pretty cool that another gamer in the building that close and didn't even know it all this time.
Advertise a game night or something.
In our chat, there was all kinds of people were saying, do a sticky note, maybe go stick it on the next box that you see or something like, hey, do you want to play a game, and just see what the response is.
I picture Mike hiding behind like a plant in the lobby there, kind of waiting to see who picks it up.
Good stuff. You'll have to keep us filled in on that one, see how that one develops. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know. Yeah.
Florida man arrested in Seattle.
Yeah.
There you go. Florida man. It always starts with Florida man.
It is.
Always.
All the headlines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, guys. Well, it was nice talking to all of you. Thank you, Anthony and Francis, for being on the show. That's pretty awesome.
Take care, Mike.
All right. See ya.
Appreciate you, man. Miss you.
That's cool.
Oh man, it's tough when you lose good friends like that.
Yeah, he's still
really.
a friend. He's just further away.
I know. One day we'll make it out there. I've never been to the West Coast.
Yeah, we're definitely
should
going to
go
visit. Yeah.
So that actually takes us to the end of the show. What I do at the end of the show is I like to run through the comments to see if there's anything I missed. I did want to talk about Wild Serengeti real quick, though.
Go ahead.
I really like the idea of trying to create a shot, like a nature documentary shot, right?
Sure, yeah.
But then I've always, I grew up loving nature documentaries. As a kid, love watching them. We have Busch Gardens here in Tampa, so I grew up going there as a kid. And the idea that anything you observe, you impact. Like, are you really seeing the true nature of the animal when you're observing them because they know you're there?
Sure.
And
Right.
adding that as a mechanism of the game.
Yeah,
Right? The
that's
whole
cool.
they caught you watching them, so they moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I just really love that introduction. That just kind of Wayne. Who was it? Who introduced that game earlier? That was Mitchell. Mitchell said, "I'm a theme guy."
Yeah.
Like if you can connect a mechanism to a theme, I learned the game so much easier.
Helps you
yeah.
stick.
Right.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That little mechanism kind of sticks for me.
That's
cool.
really cool.
I like that.
Let's see if did we miss any awesome comments in here.
Yeah.
Motive Force says ELO is used in
Yeah,
video games
That's
as
actually
well.
speaking of League of Legends, that is
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
that is a League of Legends rating for skill.
What does it mean?
Okay. Any idea?
I don't know. They just say like high ELO, low
Well,
ELO.
he
It's like
said- he
their
tells
win
you
rate.
in the next-
Yeah.
Oh, does he? Next one. There you
Oh,
go.
he does. He explains it.
Yeah.
Oh, they can see everything we can see.
Yeah.
I like
yeah,
it.
Yeah, they can see all the comments.
The ELO rating is a method for calculating the relative skill levels of players in zero-sum games, such as chess. It is named after the creator Arpad Elo, a Hungarian-American physics person.
Wow. Very cool.
Diego just
He had
stealing
to-
from
he had to have Googled
Wikipedia.
that. Yeah. Google something. Yeah. That's cool though. Okay. Good to know.
Mr. Jeeves from Chicago says he loves Fenway. Rich, which is Getty, says right next to Canada, kind of.
Kind of.
I had heard he was from
Boston,
Canada.
kinda. Oh,
We're
man.
trying to expand our international reach. I
Yeah.
think
You just wanted to say yeah.
we got Sweden.
Sweden.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, we got a viewer from Sweden.
Yeah.
He pops in regularly. So I was hoping Canada would jump in there
One day.
next time. They've actually done a lot of improvements in the past years, but you can only do so much to put lipstick on it. It was
Back
built
to-
in
back to
1912.
Fenway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Back
It's
to
been around
Fenway.
forever. Yeah.
I still want to go. As much as I hate Boston fan,
I don't think
like
I've
being
ever
a
been to
Tampa
Fenway.
baseball fan, we have a lot of Boston and New York people here in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
A lot of
Oh,
transplants.
interesting.
A lot of
Okay.
transplants.
Whenever Boston's in town, it is effectively a home game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And my family loves
Wow.
baseball. I've been taking my kids to
Interesting.
baseball every time. But whenever I take them to a Boston Tampa game, they're the rudest people, man. They anyway, I'm off that.
You're gonna lose viewers. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I lose Boston viewers, I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let's see here. Anything else? No. Talk about baptism by fire. That's Rich talking about Joe learning board games
jumping
through
into
Gloomhaven.
Yeah, that's probably not the best
Yeah.
way to bring somebody in. But
Joe is a video gamer.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
big
that's
time
how
video gamer,
Nick
yeah.
knew him.
Yep.
And then y'all brought him in there.
Yep.
Tried to get me into Gloomhaven. I just couldn't stick in.
You like Jaws of the Lion, all right? But
Jaws the Line, I did like.
Yeah.
That I did.
We like
But
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that better than the original.
I'm with you.
certainly learning the game, it made it way easier to get into the game for sure.
Yeah, we started that one with the kids.
Oh, that's
With
cool.
the kids.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Started it.
yeah, they were
Did
proud.
it.
Yeah, how far it goes.
And then
Yeah.
we shifted to Descent, and we
Yeah.
enjoyed that much.
Oh,
better.
okay. We've got Descent, or Carlos. I say we.
Yeah,
Carlos
a lot
has
of
it on the
second
shelf back
edition
there. but
stuff.
We've been talking for I don't know a year about jumping in, starting it, but we haven't started it yet.
Have you
Well,
played
that's
the
my
third
hope
edition?
about. I have it. Actually, I won
I mean,
it
I
at the
see
Dice
it.
Tower Game Exchange.
Oh, that's right. I
I
guess that's
see
what I was
it right
talking
over
about.
Rob
Yeah, we
Schultz.
played
I
lots
know.
of second edition. We haven't jumped into third edition. I guess let me be
I
clear.
sold
but
my
yeah.
second edition.
Did you really? I still
Whoa.
got
We,
mine.
we
Yeah.
painted the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
nice.
sold it.
So third edition come out and you got rid of it?
Yep.
Wow.
We got to
Carl-
try
the whole
third
thing.
edition then.
Yeah, Carlos is too much of a collector. He wouldn't do that. But
I regret every sale I've made.
yeah.
I-
Oh really? No, I don't regret it for a second. The amount of money we got for a fully painted
I know.
second edition with 3 expansions.
Well, he's got a storage
now
unit
we
just
weren't-
full
we
of
weren't gonna
bins.
play it.
Yeah.
I got all my
Never
minis
played.
games are still in my garage.
Yeah.
Like I haven't got rid of a single. I got to get better
we
at that.
we will trade away or sell or give away. It depends. The
I've
one thing we
given
never
away.
do- one thing we never do is sell or give away review copies we've gotten.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Cool.
That's a rule.
Yeah.
It's a weird rule, but we never
No,
did that.
I
See, I'm
respect
the
that.
opposite.
Yeah,
If I
respect
get
that.
a review copy, I want to get it out. Like I want to get it to the
Well,
community.
somebody has gifted that to you. I can see that. I'd want to keep
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
I would give it away. I
And
wouldn't
we
sell
have,
it
I
or
think
trade it.
there have
Okay.
been maybe a couple we've donated.
We've donated games,
donated
yeah.
to schools and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you've ever
But we're not using them
sold
as
any
treat
of them.
bait.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
the
Yeah.
only thing I won't do is trade or sell a game we get.
I'm just not good with selling games. Like I don't know how to value stuff.
Mm.
So like I will sell it
Everybody
for way
overvalues.
too cheap.
Yeah.
Way too cheap.
It's always
Oh,
worth
really?
it. Yeah.
And then I'm
Well,
like,
the
oh,
opposite,
I want to
yeah.
play it again. And then
I
I,
need to buy
rebuy
some
it.
games from you.
Yeah. Get the hook up.
She's
Yeah.
shopping your shelf right
Yeah, I'm
now.
looking
This
behind
is
you.
definitely-
What I want next.
This is why I don't sell, because then I regret the sell.
Ah.
I and this is why I don't play bidding games. Because I
Oh,
just
he's bad at it. He's
Oh,
bad
yeah,
at it.
good.
I don't know how to value things well.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Hence the overspending on this studio.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Some of the stuff. Yeah.
I don't know how to value stuff well. But
That's
wow, that got us to our 10 o'clock hour pretty quick.
Yeah.
I
He always
know,
goes
I
fast.
know.
Yeah. It flies.
It does go fast, and it's only a few calls, but it's
we'll have
it's
to
always
do
cool
this
calls.
again.
Well,
yeah,
is
look,
it-
we love this. So like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're happy to join you guys as many times as you want. Like just even if it's just a talk, you know what I mean? Like
And I was going to say, I've found that the times that we've had live guests, I think sometimes people want to listen more to what you have to say than
Yeah.
call in and interrupt. And so we try to encourage that. But on nights where we're just talking about nothing, we have no topic, we get call after call after call. And then when we have
Yeah.
guests on, we tend to have those longer pauses, which is fine. I mean, it gives you a chance to talk about things and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
us
yeah.
just to discuss things. But I think that probably is a little bit what happened tonight. So, yeah.
And I'm sure with Memorial Day weekend, we usually see a drop whenever there's a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Because folks are doing stuff, and end of the school year is when we tend to see a
Yeah.
drop as well. Because as
Yeah.
parents, we got
Transition.
school activities, the
Yeah.
final orchestra show, and
Exactly. Yeah.
it's just amazing that Rob and I can get together still
Oh, yeah.
regularly. I think we've only missed Thanksgiving,
One show.
which we
and-
did a marathon show, a video marathon recording,
Yeah.
like a 3-hour marathon recording for that
Oh,
day.
wow.
So missed one
Yeah.
Thursday in about a year and a half live. Yeah.
So we will hold you up to that
Oh, yeah.
offer
Definitely come back.
Yes.
of having y'all back.
We appreciate
you
y'all
just
coming.
let us know when and we'll show up.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
easy.
Try not to have a baby a couple weeks before
Oh,
that.
life, whatever.
And I'm looking forward to contributing more on the board game. I already have my
Yes.
first review written out. I don't do a lot of typed reviews because
Yeah.
I work on the computer all day. I'm
Right,
dealing
right,
with
yeah.
all kinds of stuff all day. I hate typing,
Yeah.
but I typed up a whole review for Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest.
Awesome.
Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm looking forward to posting that up because
Yeah, shoot that over.
I don't
And,
I don't
and
have
we'll-
like a channel or a place to post written stuff. So I'm really hoping that I could use the Nexus as my outlet.
Well, look, you're
Absolutely, yeah.
you're part of us, man. So like you send it to her and she'll put it on the front page. Like honestly,
Oh.
it'll be premiered. Like
But my English is not good looking.
That's
No,
okay.
well.
I edit.
We'll
I
touch it
edit
up.
she'll
Yeah.
edit for you if you want. She'll clean it up if you need
And
it.
I edit too, so
And
you
she'll
know,
add
love
some.
it.
And if you want to add pictures to it, if not, she can add pictures. Like she'll put a touch on it. But
So
it'll get front
the
page,
white glove treatment, as we
Sweet.
call
Yeah.
Oh,
it,
there you
that
go, white glove,
concierge
yeah.
service.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but-
we encourage users too. Like anybody who's a premium and wants to put up their own reviews, like this, the website's for the users. It's not for just
Nice.
content creators to upload content, right? Or for a user to post something that gets buried, right? We want stuff. We want to promote like our users and the community because those are the people playing these games more than 2 times before they talk about them.
Yeah,
right.
we want passionate people who've played the game and really have a good, good sense of
Yeah,
it.
they're the
like
ones
that,
who I
yeah.
want to get opinions from. Like somebody who's
Yeah.
played a game 15, 20 times. Like,
Right.
we'll talk about games without playing it 15, 20 times. So I'm like, I probably could know this a lot better, but who's got the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
because we've got another pile of games.
7,000 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
I can't keep up anymore. I'm starting to get to that place where I'm giving up on this whole
Yeah.
chasing
it's
the
just
new
not
thing.
Even, yeah, not even worth it.
yeah, no,
Not
you
worth it.
can't. You can't. Look, it's impossible. And I think, look, we should definitely get together again and actually have a topical thing where we could definitely talk about.
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want, like chasing the new. We could talk about
Sure.
getting paid or money
Yeah.
and how that works in the content creator space. We're completely open to talk about this stuff. We have no
Yeah.
Awesome.
like
And that's
we
my
love-
hope with the community is giving the community access to having that conversation with
Yes.
you, that voice to voice conversation to ask questions.
Yeah. Honest opinion.
So,
Yeah.
and I
We're
think the more
very
we do it,
candid.
the more open the community will get because there's definitely been activity in the comments about how you've contributed and what y'all have done.
Yeah.
Just giving them the courage to have that voice conversation. Except for our buddy Keith Mahoney. Is that what he calls himself?
Yeah.
Keith Mahoney?
You got his name right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mr. Jeep says, I like listening to Anthony and Francis.
Oh,
Thank
there
you,
you
Mr.
go.
Jeeves.
Thank you.
Nice. Wow.
Kyle's Mr. Jeeves, also known as Kyle, does photography. He was actually
Oh, okay.
we had him as a guest when I started doing this guest host thing.
Yep.
Kyle was one of our first guests that we had on because he does photography. He's actually did videography for like Deadliest Catch and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
we had him on. And he talked to us about ISO and f-stops,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like how to use cameras.
Yeah.
So that was
Right.
one of the shows that we did, and he's been a caller ever since and
Really
a
great.
contributor on the show.
Big fan of
Cool.
Spirit Island. He's done some cool photography stuff with Spirit Island.
Just
Really-
had a
really-
baby last month, Declan,
Yep.
a little boy.
Oh, so yeah, excellent.
At a Chi-Town, so whenever I get to go see Wrigley Field,
Yeah.
I'm a baseball fan. If you haven't heard that yet,
Yeah.
you know, I want to go see Wrigley Field, so at least we'll have someone we can go play a game with.
Excellent.
Cool.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us. For
Absolutely.
the folks at
Yeah.
home,
That's been fun.
Pleasure.
I'm Carlos,
I'm Rob.
and on as guests we have Francis and Anthony of the Board Game Nexus. Check them out on the Board Game Nexus on .com, and then also check them out on How It Plays BG on Instagram, as well as the Board Game Nexus. I think there's a
YouTube, yeah, it's now the Board Game
YouTube now, right?
And Lab Games. Yep.
And just real quick on why we changed the name of that is because it's not just our content anymore. So
Okay.
we have other content creators' content on that channel, so it's more like a network than it is us. So
Yeah.
Community. Cool.
We'll be
I'm
there.
glad to be a part of the community. I think
Yes.
the mentorship y'all put out there really opened up my eyes to the people in the community
yeah,
that want to help each other up, right? To lift each other up, and that's what's really stuck with me, which is why I've reached out to y'all to ask y'all to be on the show, and I appreciate it.
of course,
That's
it's our
excellent.
pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for watching. Every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, Robert and I do the live board game show.
Yep.
Every other Sunday, y'all can catch our podcast where we just talk random stuff.
Chat about stuff in depth.
I think
Yep.
our last episode we just did was we ran through every game that Jimmy Stegmeyer designed.
Stegmeyer's ever designed.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And then Robert showed me on the tapestry box where Jamie touched him and hurt him.
It hurt me on that game. Yeah. It was sad.
It was. So check out the podcast. Well, thank y'all. Have a good night. We appreciate you. Anthony Francis.
Thanks
God
everybody
bless.
for watching.
Thank
Good night,
Great,
y'all.
guys.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.